Okay, so this is video number 2 of the ABC of fire alarm systems. So we're going to recap on a couple of A, B's and C's, and then we're going to move on to D, E and F. So another A in fire alarm systems, we talked about analog addressable systems. B, we talked about beacons and batteries. C, we talked about call points and containment. And D, we talked about detectors. So a couple of more things to talk about. So B, when we talk about B, another B in fire alarm systems is British standards. So the British standard for fire alarms is BS 5839 Part 1 2013. So it's 5839-1 2013, and it looks like this. This is the British standard that we have that guides our industry. However, all engineers, most engineers haven't read this, so all engineers refer to the quick reference guide, which was sent to you by as a digital PDF, and this is a very small handheld guide which guides you all the way through the British standards at a level of the engineer's requirements. So that's B. So continuing on with the ABC theory of learning, we're going to talk about C, which is conventional. So we mentioned it yesterday. So this is a conventional system. A conventional system is different to an addressable system because it doesn't have a screen. So the only thing a conventional system can do is give you information on a particular zone. So that could be the whole of a floor, or two parts of a floor, or whole of an area. But it won't be specific, it won't give you a postcode. So I mentioned more about that in the hands-on training, but for this video, C is for conventional systems. Okay, continuing on with ABC, we're now going to talk about E. So E is for engineers. So in our industry we have fire alarm service engineers, we have fire alarm commissioning engineers, we have fire alarm installation engineers. But the correct term is fire alarm ... It can't be confused with fire engineers. Fire engineers are chartered, degree-based or foundation degree-based people who have specialised in particular articles within the fire safety engineering platform. So we are not, so service engineers are fire alarm service engineers, commissioning engineers or installation engineers. Okay, moving on to F. F, in the context of fire alarm safety, is for fire rated. So fire rated things such as fire rated cable or fire rated glands. These are items that we use in our industry to make up the whole of the system. And if I show you what's behind a ceiling or a wall, you get a bit of an idea. So this is a mock-up of what would be found above the ceilings, inside the walls of a fire alarm system. So this is all fireproof cable, these are fireproof glands, and these are fireproof fixings. But in our industry we have to put everything up on the ceiling when we're cabling it with fireproof material. So to summarise with fireproof containment, we tend to use FP cable or FP rated, which is fireproof, and there's lots of different manufacturers, but it looks like this. It's red, it's mechanically proof, it's waterproof, and it's fireproof. So that's F. So skipping G and moving on to H. H is for hybrid. So yesterday we talked about analog addressable panels or intelligent systems, and then today we talked about cable. You can also have radio fire alarm systems, which we'll cover on the next video. But if you take a hybrid, if you take a fire alarm system and you want to add other items onto it, which you can't use cable for, you can have a hybrid system. So that's where you take a fire alarm system and you add radio devices, which are powered by batteries, so no cables, and they're called hybrid systems. So a hybrid system looks like this. So you have a fire alarm system, and then on the fire alarm system, wired into the system, you have a radio booster, and that radio booster sends information to the radio bits of kit. So they look very similar, but there's no wires to them. And we'll cover more about that when we talk specifically about radio items. So that's H. So there's nothing for I, but for J, we talk about junction boxes. So when we wire up a fire alarm system, we have junction boxes look like this, or sometimes this, or this. And these junction boxes are designed to take the cable, the fireproof cable, into the junction box and then onto the detector. And again, they're normally either metal or fire-rated plastic. So they're junction boxes. And lastly, we're going to talk about L. So L, in the context of fire alarm systems, is for loop. So an analog addressable intelligent fire alarm system has a loop of cabling. So the cables start at one point on the fire alarm system, they go round the entire network of devices and they come back. So it's a continuous loop. Unlike a conventional system, which doesn't have a loop, it has radials or fingers. So on a conventional system, the cables leave the panel and they go out to all the devices and then they stop, just like a finger. So to summarise, the difference between a loop and a radial is that a loop is continuous. So like that, two fingers touching together, whereas a radial is a start and a definite finish. And we'll talk about more of that in the hands-on training. So that takes us up to L. The next training video will go on from L and we'll talk about maintenance and we'll talk about non-conformities and we'll talk about other things as we go through the alphabet. And that's it. Pause.